Right, folks, I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. I would like to thank you for joining me. All right, just a quick word here before we start our bedtime story. I tried to change the layout look of this channel, and I really liked it in the last couple videos, but I decided to ditch it for a very simple reason. Unless I want to spend a whole lot of money on a computer that can process really, really quickly, the average time it will take for me to upload, say, a 45-minute video is around an hour and a half. And I love you all dearly, but one, I do not wish to drop $2,000 on a computer, probably minimum. And then the other part is for me to upload regularly to this channel, it must be time efficient. And hour and a half waiting, like I fell asleep on Sunday night waiting for it, that's not time efficient. And since bringing you quality bedtime stories is the most important thing so that we can learn from the mistakes of other people, we're going to keep this layout right here. I really just want to be kind of out of the Ramsey picture for you. I mean, I know I do the commentary and all that, but honestly, believe it or not, I don't see myself as the star of the show. It's really the stories that are going on in the Ramsey, and I'm just simply bringing you my thoughts on the content. So I kind of want to pull myself out of the picture. So I'm going to put it down here. I think it's the best spot. It's quick, it's easy, and I don't have to spend $2,000 to upgrade just a computer. So anyways, I do appreciate your patience in me not being here for last night's bedtime story. I was dealing with all that. Finally, I threw my hands up and said, forget it. All right, folks, I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. We are back to bedtime stories. We are hitting 9 o'clock. But we can't go for 2 nights without a bedtime story, because I know some of you, you're relying on it to go to sleep. Others of you, you're relying on it for your exercise. And I know at least one of you has it with your tea breakfast in the morning. So I say we hit it. Here we are, folks. Y'all broke people, man. This is from Dave Ramsey. This just ran yesterday. So let's hear it. Yay.
Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today. Logan's in Lexington, Kentucky. Hi, Logan. How are you?
Good, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Hey, so real fast, I'll give you a backstory of where I'm at today. April of 22, my wife and I got married. Before we got married, I had about $30,000 in my bank account. She had $5,000 student loan and $17,000 car note. Pretty much as soon as we got married.
Okay, that's not bad. And of course, you can watch this in the description without all the interruptions. That is not bad, folks. Okay, $17,000 car note. I'm glad it's not higher. $5,000 student loan. Hey, that's kicking it. All right. The concern is the title is called Y'all Are Broke. So something went wrong. So that's what we're going to learn from this bedtime story is what went wrong.
Paid that off. Got that out of the way, took care of. We then rented an apartment for a year and decided we were going to stay there until we had enough money to put a good down payment on a house.
Okay, rent an apartment, down payment on a house. By the way, I don't speed these videos up anymore, so he's going pretty fast.
Unfortunately, after that year, we had an opportunity present itself to buy a home from a family friend at a pretty well discounted price, well below what the home value was. We knew that it was too much house for us at the 40.
Boom. Hold on.
200 square feet.
Okay, so let's stop here. He said we bought a home. Okay, so far they were doing it pretty good, renting a house. Then he said they bought a home, 4,200 square feet. And did everybody hear what he said right after he said we bought a home? How many square feet was it? Were you listening, audience? Were you listening? Because it's those small details. It was 4,200 square feet. Now, I don't know if they have, a family of 6 or anything, okay? But he said they just got married. So I'm going to assume that it's probably he and his wife, maybe a kid. But he said they just got married in 2022. Okay, so they might have a child by now. But either way, 4,200 square feet. He said it was a good deal. But he said, and I quote, it was too much house for us. They like they knew it was. They knew it was too much house when they bought it. Do we see, audience, how we wind up on that first step of financial disaster? It takes one step. And here is the interesting part. It's not a step that we had to take. It is a step that could have been avoided. Like I have said, most of our financial disasters are not caused by other things. They're caused by us. We cause it. So they buy this house. They know they can't afford it. It's 4,200 square feet. This little 840 square foot condo, part of the reason I kept my place so small is I was very paranoid. And I mean literally paranoid, okay? I was paranoid about having not just too much house to purchase as far as the cost of the house, but the square footage that I was going to have to pay to fix it up. Because this condo was a fixer-upper. It didn't look like this behind me at all. This behind me is 3 years old, including the ceiling.
House, $315,000 is what we paid for it. First time home buyer, so we didn't have any money to put down. Zero.
Oh, okay. Boy, this guy's, I think I can talk fast. Okay. So he said 0 down, 315 for the house, 0 down. My concern was 0 down, just my observations, I should say. Because I haven't ever done 0 down. At least I think I had to have a couple thousand for a house when I was married. Not much. Okay. But it wasn't 0 down. I think one of the pitfalls I can determine with 0 down is when you get something for nothing, it makes you feel like you have more, right? So you get something like a house. It didn't cost you anything. And if we look at the history of past Ramsey callers, people who are calling in debt, what happens when people think they have more money? They go, hey, we got money after all. We can spend it on other things. When some people put 0 down on a house, well, don't have experience on it. I certainly have read about it. Common sense, years, okay? It would seem to me that some people who put 0 down on a house don't realize that they actually don't have money. How do we know you don't have money? You put 0 down on a house. But someone who is not financially savvy might be prone to overspending, would go, hey, I put 0 down on a house, so this means I have money that I would have put on a house to go to something else. It's just a thought.
0% down is what we got. 6.25% interest rate. We knew it was going to be a lot, but we tried anyway.
We knew it was going to be a lot of money. I'm assuming he's referring to the house, but we tried anyways. People, if we were to count all the steps that they took, okay, every red flag was there saying you can't afford this. Every red flag. We knew the house was too much money. We knew the house was too big, square footage wise, 4,200. We put 0 down. What else do you need other than your gut hunch that says this is a bad idea? What else do you need to say we should not buy this house? Just because something is a good deal financially, he said, we got the house for, I think it was like less than market value. He may not have used those exact words, but to that effect, okay, we got this really good deal. Just because something is a really good deal doesn't mean you can afford it. Let me give you a case in point. How many of you ever heard, the more you spend, the more you save? As a matter of fact, you can spend your entire account down to 0, but hey, you saved some money. It would have cost you 0 minus. Instead, we just took your account to 0. But if you had paid full price for that item, you'd be an extra $50 in the hole. I have quickly learned through 2 bankruptcies to understand that if you would not fall for highly sophisticated marketing terms, ploys, advertisements, you can't fall for them. You have to realize, that people are paid a whole lot of money to think about how we think and how to sucker us out of our money. Whoever came up truly with the more you spend, the more you save, I hope they are rich and retiring somewhere in the Bahamas because they deserve it. Because people fall for it all the time. All the time. So yeah, they got a good deal on the house per se, but that wasn't a good deal for them. What might be a good deal, what might be a good deal for one person does not necessarily make it a good deal for someone else.
We lived there up until November of this past year, barely making it, living paycheck to paycheck.
That is not the way you want to purchase a house. That means you bought too much house, but they knew it beforehand. They knew. And he pretty much says it at the beginning. They knew.
Struggling. Our marriage was struggling.
And why is the marriage struggling? Because the finances are struggling. And sometimes, even if the finances aren't struggling, the marriage can still struggle because the people don't agree on how the finances should be spent. Just because it is my position that just because somebody may be household may be financially stable, there still may be dissension amongst the ranks. Okay, as somebody saying, sure, we can make all the ends meet and stuff, but we should be putting more towards savings. We should be putting more towards retirement. Somebody else says, well, I want another vehicle. It's kind of like we've talked about with credit scores. Okay, in other bedtime stories, we've talked about our credit scores. And just because somebody is holding a high credit score doesn't mean their finances are stable. It means their finances aren't shot as far as, they can juggle everything, but it doesn't necessarily mean their finances are stable.
We just decided we can't do this anymore if we want this to work.
And I'm assuming when he says if we want this to work, he's talking about if we want the relationship to work, and then another aspect of if we don't want to lose the house. This is all over a house that was too much money. Let's break it down to what this all is about. It's about a house that was too much money. That was what is it that they say? The pebble that caused the ripple in the pond. The pebble that caused the ripple in this pond wasn't her $17,000 car. It wasn't her $5,000 student loan. It sure as heck wasn't his $30,000 that he came in with, if I am so correct. What was the financial ripple? I mean, what was it was that little pebble. What was the pebble that caused it? Oh, we knew we were buying too much house. That's the pebble that caused the financial ripple that eventually went into the ocean and stirred up all the waves.
And we do. So we ended up putting the house up for sale, sold the house in 7 days.
Remember, this just played yesterday. By the way, this new layout, you can now see when the video ran. Yay! Is that wonderful? If you look to the left there. Oh, that is so convenient. Okay. So they've been in the house. This just ran yesterday. So I'm going to estimate when this was 22, so they've been there about a year, maybe a little bit more than a year. Wow. Now imagine if they had bought a house that was $100,000 less than the 315. Remember, this isn't 2020. So this condo sold for $120,000. They could have gotten a house for $250,000, $300,000. Maybe around $200,000 at that time. Would their marriage be as stressed out? And they've already given up the house. So they have nothing to show for it. At least from what I can tell.
For $415,000, so $100,000 more than we gave for it in March.
Okay, so they profited $100,000. Okay, well at least they got some of it. At least they made a profit.
After realtor fees, et cetera, we walked away with $77,000.
Okay, so $77,000 after they sold it. Okay.
The time that we lived in the home, we accumulated $10,000 worth of credit card debt.
The tea, people, the tea. Did these people learn anything? Did they learn anything yet? Oh, $10,000 in credit card debt.
Updating the home. It was built in 2002, so it was very outdated. And to try to get that home value up even more to sell it, we put $10,000 on a credit card.
They shouldn't have done that. They should have sold it just as is. You already can't afford the house. They should have sold it just as it was. Somebody would have bought it. They didn't need to update it. They did not need to update it.
Or the furniture for us, and then
furniture. You're in a house you can't afford. All right, let's think about it. Okay, let's really dive deep here. So far, everything that I've heard in this call that has lasted 2 minutes and 13 seconds are wants. Wants, wants, wants. Where have we heard of a need? A need. Now, some people may say, oh, but the house is a need. Ah, yes, the house is a need, but not that house. I needed housing. I needed housing. This was a need. But you don't see my Fanny sitting in a condo twice the size on a teacher income. I have heard nothing here. Okay, now we're not counting the bills that they came into with, her car and the $5,000 student loan. We're putting that aside. We're talking about from the time they decided they were going to have zero down for a house. I have not heard a single want. I have not heard a single need. I've only heard wants. We want a house that's more than what we need. We want 4,200 square feet. We want zero down. We want to fix it up so we can sell it. We want furniture. What do they need furniture for? You're in a house that you can't afford anyways.
And fencing and new flooring, et cetera, et cetera. Today, I have right at $50,000 in the bank. $22,000 of that 77. I bought my wife a car.
Oh, the tea is hot tonight, people. Or my mango drink. The tea is hot tonight. He bought his wife a car. You know why he bought his wife a car? He bought his wife a car because of why? The relationship is going south, and that car is the either get out of jail free card or a save the marriage card. Either way, that's what that car is. These people, let me read the title. You all are broke people, man. He bought his wife a car. She is complicit in this. I guarantee it to you. Unless she demanded that he take that car and he immediately sell it. Okay? Because we need the money more than we need the car. Because he said he took the money, bought the car. So I'm assuming the car's paid off because he took a chunk of money to do that with. All right? Unless that wife said, we don't need this. You are messing up our budget. We've just basically lost our house. Yeah, we made we made some profit off the house, but the bottom line is we couldn't maintain the house. We don't have a high enough monthly budget to maintain this house. Right? Unless the wife did that, she's complicit too. See, this is called the broke leading the broke and the blind leading the blind.
We just found out on Christmas Day that she's pregnant and do her.
Oh, more bills. Congratulations to the blessed cause. But for those who can't see the video, okay, I'm going to describe to you. Dave Ramsey usually says, oh, congratulations, when someone says they're pregnant. I've frozen the video. He don't look happy. Because what he sees right now is a train wreck. They're broke right now. Guess when the babysitting, child care, infant care bill comes.
Her first baby. I'm 26. She's 25. Guys, if you can see the video, he is not cracking a smile. And this is a guy, usually when someone says, hey, I have $300,000 in student. No, it goes more like this. Hey, I'm a guy, I'm debt free. I want to marry a woman who has $300,000 in student loan debt and we want to have a baby. It's like, oh, congratulations. The blessed child is on its way. This, not a crack of a smile. And his arms are crossed. That's how you know he's frustrated. Hey, I've watched enough of these videos over the years. I have a car note for $37,500 what I owe on it.
Sometimes, and I have read this in many of the Ramsey comments. I'm sure you have too. Okay. People say, I come to this channel to make myself feel better. Well, some of you probably come to this channel to help you sleep a little better. So he has a $30,000 car note. Now you see, if there were an adult in the room, what would he have done with the excess money instead of buying his wife a car? They would have paid off the $37,000 car. How much money we waste. When I look back, Jesus, not the last 10 years. The last 10 years, I've been I gotta be honest, since I've been divorced, I've been kicking ass with my finances. I really, really have. Clearly, okay? But before I was divorced, okay? So much money came through that I have, God knows where it went. God knows where it went. Okay. And in my 20s, 30s, I don't even want to think about it because I would probably just roll up in a corner and cry. How much money came through my hands that I just let go to frivolous crap that I had no idea. He could have paid off this car. It takes financial discipline to come into money in any way. It doesn't matter if it's an inheritance, you sold something. Okay. It doesn't matter. It takes financial self-discipline to do the right thing and to say, you know what? I am not going to buy that. I'm going to pay off this. Because in the end, for me, and I can only speak for myself, I finally got excited about saving money. I got excited finally about putting away money. But guys, I didn't get that until I was in my stinking 50s. If I could live this life over again, I would get excited about that at least by my 30s. At least by my 30s. I got smart about retirement. But as far as hey, let's get excited at paying off the bill. Instead of getting excited about the new outfit you're going to wear or how you're going to fix up the house, okay? Get excited about getting out of debt, paying off the bill. I can tell you truly I think the greatest financial excitement I have ever had was the 2.5 years it took me to pay off the mortgage. I mean, talk about absolute thrill. It was a roller coaster ride, but in a good way. It was a roller coaster ride in a good way that I knew I was going to have a solid landing if I would just hang on with both hands, ride that roller coaster and not give up and not stop. That was probably the greatest financial thing I have ever put myself through, was to pay off my mortgage and to follow that amortized loan day by day, line item by line item. These guys aren't at the point where that's exciting. They're not. I got a check from Geico. I got a check from Geico for $50 about a week ago. That sucker is still sitting on my kitchen counter because you know what? It makes me happier to look at that check. It makes me happy to look at that check, go, yeah, and it was $50. I wasn't expecting. I don't even know why I got it. They said had something to do with a premium adjustment, whatever. That check sits on that counter. It's been there for a week and I am just thrilled about it. Because you see, when you have control of your finances, you are not in a rush to have to spend that money. You don't need to spend that money because you are in control. Think of it kind of like people who have control with their food. One of the things I am exceptionally in control of, and I always have been, I'm exceptionally in control of food. I have never had a food addiction problem. I can't tell you what it is like. Okay. But I certainly respect those that have it. It's real. But for me, I've never had it. So people will go, well, how can you sit there and look at a bag of Oreos? Okay. I'll put them in a tub and they will go bad, like soft, before I finish it. And people will go, well, I would have finished that Oreo bag in, some people, one sitting, or let's just say 2-3 days. I'll have it around for a couple of weeks from paycheck to paycheck, and I will usually toss it out. Why? Because I have control of it. I own it. It doesn't own me. I own the food. The food doesn't own me. I own my budget. Finally, the budget doesn't own me. When you have ownership of your budget, you will not need to run to cash it and to spend it. Because you know what? It'll be right there on that table for you tomorrow.
So now we have 3 vehicles. 2 are paid off. 1 truck that I have is not paid off. $37,500 what I owe on it. The reason I have
what are you smoking that you go buy a $37,000 car after you just sold a house because you couldn't breathe?
Snaps for me. Snaps. Okay, for those who are new, whenever I do snaps, it just means I said something that Dave Ramsey either backed up, agreed with. Snaps. Bedtime snaps. Yeah. Absolutely. Spent the money on a car instead of paying off a car. He spent the money on a car instead of paying off the car, or nearly paying off a car.
No, it was $22,000 is what I paid for her car. I already had the $37,000 car loan before.
What do you got?
So why didn't you use the $22,000 and put it towards the vehicle that you have? 22. Now, y'all know I suck at math. 22, 32, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay, 50. I suck at math. I'm a great writer. I suck at math. Okay. So he could have gone from a $30,000+ car to a $15,000 car if he had done it. But you know why some people won't do that? I think in some people's minds, if it can't be paid off in full, it's not worth even trying. It's kind of like exercising. There are people, I'm an exercise fanatic. Okay. Little factoid for those who don't know, this was an exercise channel for 2 years, greatly ignored by most, but okay. But if you think of it kind of like exercising, okay, and I've been exercising for 30 years, all right. It's like people will say, well, people do this, if I can't get my whole entire 1 hour workout in, then it's a waste. No, it's not a waste. Because you see, if you'll exercise for 30 minutes instead of an hour, then you didn't lose an hour. You only lost 30 minutes. Right? It's changing the way you think about something. That's really what this is all about. It's what budgeting is all about. Control of money is all about. It's the same money. I got the same Geico check sitting on my counter today, tomorrow, that was here almost a week ago. It's just my mindset about it is different than someone who's a heavy spender, has to spend it really quickly.
Guys make a year?
130 together.
Good Lord.
That's what my ex and I made together, gross. It's 2 school teacher incomes. Don't jump and get excited, folks. It's 2 school teacher incomes. Now, when it's one person's income, plus you got the addition of a school teacher on top of it, then it gets a little bit better. But, basically 2 school teacher incomes. This guy alone, this husband, is not solely to blame. I say he and his wife are equally to blame. He may be the one calling in, but in this case, I'm going to say this is 50-50 blame.
Okay. Yeah. Well, like I said, I've had the.
All right. What can I do to help? What can we do?
Who cares about the damn truck? That's what Dave Ramsey's thinking. Dave's going, who cares?
A ticket, dude, and you blew your nose in it. That's what you did, man.
How can you? You got $50,000 in the bank. After you sell both cars and pay your capital gains, you're probably even.
Oh, jeez. Do you remember just the other day we did a video on that teenager, and he had 4 freaking vehicles. One didn't work. The other one was so modified, the dealer won't buy it. Probably no one's going to buy it, okay? And then he owed 2 more, and he was working at some oil rig or something, some type of place, okay? And he's a high school dropout. I'll link this at the end. I will link this video at the end. He's a high school dropout and all of that. And he spends all this money on these vehicles, trying to flex. And then what happens at 22, a mere 22, he gets laid off. And I believe this is a very current video, okay? He gets laid off and loses everything. And he's back to square zero. But he's in worse off because now he not only has he lost everything and shot his credit, he's now a 22-year-old high school dropout. He was given, though, a 6-figure job working, I believe, in the oil industry. 6-figure job at 18, 19 years old. He was kicking it. And he took it all, flexed it, dumped it all in some crap cars as far as most of us are concerned. Not saying, car collectors, that's fine. Collect all you want. Just make sure you can afford it, okay? But in this case, he couldn't afford it. And he's back to square zero. That's where these guys are at. I'll link that video at the end. It is well worth watching. And I have heard that the commentator is just fabulous. Just kidding.
Right, yeah, that's the thing. I don't know how much the capital gain percentage is.
It's not a capital gain. It's ordinary income because you didn't even hold the house a year.
Oh, that's right. If you don't hold property for a year or two, that's right. And you just turn around and sell it. I guess it's to try to avoid people just buying it and flipping it. Although that seems to be the case with Airbnb and all the other investors, but that's a different story.
So it's a 35% tax on the actual gain, and the gain is not $415. The gain is after sales expenses, and you probably did some capital improvements on that credit card debt that you can deduct as well. So you probably have a $70,000 gain at 35%. Probably got a $20,000 tax bill. You need to sit down with the tax person and figure out what that is.
Oh crap! There's more money. Oh Lord!
But it's probably right around there. And you have cars you can't afford. And you went and bought another one.
But he was trying to save the marriage. Like I said, if his wife did not say, honey, you take that car back right now, we are going to sell it and we are putting that money towards the truck that you already have a $37,000 bill on. But then he's probably tight to go, well, I don't want to put towards the truck because it still wouldn't pay it off. It doesn't matter. Every dollar counts.
Right.
Go sell both of them.
Okay, and
you're not going to, are you?
No, I
all that's no. Your hand is in the cookie jar, right? No. My hand is not really in the cookie jar. Yeah, the lid is off. Yeah, I know you see fingerprints on the jar that you just cleaned, and my hand was only halfway in the cookie jar. It wasn't touching a cookie.
Well, what I'm thinking is...
No, honey. Okay. Dude, you ain't thinking. You're not thinking. Your wife ain't thinking. All brains have left for the other side of town.
We live an hour from work, both of us. Well, we live rent-free now on her grandparents' estate.
This is not the direction one is supposed to go towards in life. We now live rent-free on her grandparents' estate. You are squatters. And I take that term from Dave Ramsey from an earlier video. You are squatting. You have gone from home ownership of a home you can't afford to being a squatter.
Fortunately, they passed away. They had a house here they didn't want to sell, so we're living here rent-free.
Like I said, squatter, nothing to be proud about. Nothing, not in this case. Now, there are some cases that this would be wonderful. You got a young couple that they've just, they're starting themselves up in life, and, family member says, hey, you know what? We're going to give you a boost and you stay here. That's a totally different situation. Not two ding-dongs that decided they were going to take their $37,000 truck, okay, and go buy another car. Remember, when it comes to the things that we deal with financially, it's all about the situation of the individual person. So in this case, it would be fantastic if this was a young married couple, and they are really trying hard to start out. And so, they're offered, hey, I want you to go live here on this little plot of land. We're going to charge you little to no rent as you save your money to purchase a house. Same exact events. The same event can be very, very different depending upon the situation of the people entering that event, right? So in that case, living on the little, back area, back lot would be awesome, and it would be appropriate. It could even be appropriate for someone, who has been laid off from their job and they're really, again, trying hard, trying to save some money, get back on their feet. These aren't two ding-dongs getting back on their feet. These are two people who have clearly not learned their lesson from zero down too much house for 4,200 square feet. Let's go out and buy a car to make ourselves feel better. And then we didn't even consider the tax implications of paying off a house, of selling a house that we've been in less than a year.
So what? Does that mean you have to be stupid with cars?
Snaps with me. Snaps. People, our tea is boiling for this bedtime story. Our cup is boiling.
No, it doesn't.
Rent-free doesn't describe stupid cars.
Thank you.
Right. So we're just trying to decide, should I sell my truck?
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes I should put a camera down by my feet, because my feet are just like tapping the ground. Oh, jeez. That's like, should I get myself out of the hot boiling water, or should I just stay in there and pretend it's a sauna soak?
You should sell the car you just bought her.
Snaps! Snapperoonies! Yes. Thank you, Jesus.
Okay.
Y'all are broke people, man.
Not to mention a little on the stupid side. Now, I'm saying this with a kind and Christian heart, okay?
Yeah.
You're broke. You make $130,000 a year, and you've made a series of bad financial decisions that have caused you to be broke.
Do you know what's one thing that I've come to also understand, folks? We don't have to go through this crap. We really don't. We really don't have to put ourselves through it. We voluntarily choose to do it through our inability to hold off on our wants. It is voluntary. It really is. Most of our financial crap is voluntary. We don't have to live like that. We don't have to do it. I was stupid and I did it. I didn't need to do it. It's almost like, dang, sometimes we get so in the muck. We get so in the muck with our finances, we forget that we can crawl out of it any time we'd like. We do. We forget that. You can't afford that you can't afford that private school? Send your kid to public school. Problem solved. Now, of course, you can come up with 100 reasons as to why you shouldn't. And that's the part that will oftentimes do you in. Here's what I tell people. Okay, we're all taking a fork in the road, Love this channel. Love the forks in the road. Let's talk about public and private school. I want to take a really quick fork in the road because it does deal with money, okay? When I tell you we don't have to live the financial harm that we voluntarily do to ourselves, let's take a look at public and private school. And this is something I told somebody once. Somebody was like, well, yeah, but the private school teachers are so much better. They're so much better. And that was their comment. And I said, where do you think most private teachers come from? They come from public schools. Okay? I think most people don't realize that the private school teachers you have, most of them at some point taught public school. It's kind of like this. Now we're going to take another fork. Okay? Keep it all together here. Follow me. When you get your hair cut, I have been to really nice hair salons. I'm talking a hair salon that serves you lemon water in a wine goblet glass. Okay? Lemon water with fresh ice cubes. And I'm talking not a single fingerprint on that glass. It had a couch for you to sit on, some mellow music while you waited your turn in line to pay your $200 bill. I did that, I think, maybe for about a year. And it was a lovely hair salon. And I could plan on walking out of there with about 200, probably about 150 for the service and about another, $50 for, shampoo and stuff, right? But I'm not going to look at the shampoo cost. Let's just look at the service, $150, okay? One day, and luckily for me, it was sooner than later, okay, it was within the year, I went, you know what? I'm willing to bet you, and here's why, okay, because I had conversations with, because I'm not a chatty person at all. In fact, I am usually a woman short on words, have very little to say. Hey, I can laugh at myself too, okay? I can, all right? So here's the thing. So I was sitting there and I was chatting, as I always do with the salon people. And I quickly realized, a lot of these people who work in the big salons that are all fancy, almost all of them worked in the inexpensive salons. I won't call them cheap, but they worked in the inexpensive salons. They just wanted the bigger salons because they could start trying to, build their own business and get a reputation or whatever. And I started going, wait a minute. You doing my hair at Ulta and I'm paying you $150, but just last week you worked at Great Clips and you would have done my hair for $25. Guess where I take my hair for the last decade. Student salons, Great Clips. Yeah. And I've had no issues at all. When we talk about how we spend money and the financial harm we do to ourselves because we aren't spending it correctly, a lot of it is because in our head, we are so used to spending it one way, we don't realize there's actually another way. Are you spending $150 for your hair appointment, ladies? Stop doing it. Okay? Stop. If it is hurting, now if it's not hurting you and you love it and it's therapeutic, go for it. But if it's hurting you, you can stop. These people don't have, this caller and his wife, they don't have an off button that allows them to go, hey, we're really messing this up. We really need to stop. They don't have an off button. They're just doing, I suspect, what they've done for years. And that is overspend. Spend without thinking. But they don't have to, and neither do you.
The best way to do it is go back to the last time you were standing on solid ground, which is when you had a couple of junky cars that were paid for.
And $100,000 cash in the bank.
Yeah, that was a while back. But let's get rid of both of these. Get the best car you can get for cash. And figure out what your capital gains are.
Why do I think these guys aren't going to do it? Because people who are this embedded in the way they spend money, and also because there's two of them, which means you have to convince both of them to do it, I always feel like the odds are going to drop. If it's just one person and that one person has total control, okay, and they have their come to Jesus moment, I can go, okay, I think they might do it. But when you have to convince another party, and I'm willing to bet you if we were to hear from his wife, she's just like him, 2 peas in a pod.
So the $22,000 car you bought her, did you use the $50,000 cash to do that, or did you go get a loan on that?
No. We had $77,000 in the bank.
Oh, so now you got 50 after buying that car. So that car is paid for.
Yeah, we have 2 cars that are paid for, and one truck. My truck is not.
Okay.
They have 3 cars. They have 3 insurances. They have 3 tanks of gas. They have 3 maintenance. If this does not make our tea bedtime story boil, I don't know what does. It is more than just we have a car. We have 3 of that. We have 3 times over. We have 3 times over the insurance. You cannot look at something as just as in, well, we have a car. Or even we have paid cars. Paid car or not, they all require gas. They all require maintenance. They all require insurance. Money. Money being spent that doesn't have to be spent.
So both of our cars are paid for.
Oh, good. Then just get rid of the truck. Get rid of the truck and pay the capital gains.
Oh, hell, he ain't going to get rid of the truck. He'll tell you that on the phone, Dave, but he ain't going to get rid of it.
Right. That was our main question.
Yeah. Okay, I'm caught up with you now. Yeah. But, dude, you got to quit buying crap.
All right, folks. This has hit 41 minutes. Hasn't this been fun? Who's up for a second story? It's 9:30. 9:30. We up for a second story? Because there's another video I really want to hear. So here's what we're going to do. Yeah, it's past bedtime. You know, hey, I'm going to be done with the computer deck by 8:30. Well, that's all shot and gone to pot. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a quick break, save this. I do need to save after each video. It secures that it will not get lost. Because if this video gets lost, I ain't doing it again. Okay, so let me go ahead and save this. Going to get a quick drink of water and stuff, and I will be back here in just a minute. If you need to hit pause, now is the time. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. Welcome back for those of you who decided to stay up a little bit later. I am feeling a little guilty because I didn't give you any content yesterday, so I will extend it to you this evening. Okay. This is Dave Ramsey, $430,000 worth of screwed. You are seriously broke. Now, this is 4.5 minutes, so we'll see what I can keep it to. You know, sometimes that's a challenge, okay? All right, people, tea is warmed up, and let's hit it off. Thanks for staying with me a bit longer.
Coleman is in Billings, Montana. Hi, Coleman. Welcome to the Ramsey
Hi,
Show.
Coleman.
Hey, how's it going?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I have 2 statements and 1 question. So first off, me and my wife just got married 2 days ago.
Congratulations.
Statement. Thank you. The second statement is that we are both doctors, and we came together with $430,000 in student debt. So my question is, I know you guys...
Please don't say they are physical therapists. Dave will have a heart attack. Don't say you're a chiropractor. Dave will have a heart attack.
state that that it takes about 18 to 24 months to get out of debt. For us, it's projected to be about 6 years. We were just curious on some ideas on how to stay gazelle intent, but as well, we'd like to enjoy life. Our pre-marriage counselors work with doctors, and they really noted that there needs to be times of enjoyment, and we just...
Oh, of course there are times of enjoyment. Always. Yes. That's quite a stretch, though, from it takes people 18 months to, hey, it's going to take us 6 years. We've gone from 1.5 years to 6 years. So somewhere or another in there, it's going to take this caller and his wife 4.5 more years. And if you really want to get technical about it, you could take this 430, split in half, and say they each owe about $215 each. You mean to tell me if you are 2 doctors, it's going to take you 6 years to pay off, respectively $215,000? That's something. Something's brewing in the tea, people. Something is brewing.
We're curious on how we may do that.
Well, you know what? You don't even have to call Dave Ramsey. You can just ask Miss Horn for free. Okay. Here's what you do. You go gazelle intense. All right. You will eat beans and rice. Okay. If you visit a restaurant, it's because you work in the kitchen. That's what Dave says, right? Right. There is no visiting family, no visiting friends. You will visit your backyard and plant petunias.
Okay. Well, I always use big numbers in my math, and so.
And sometimes, Dave, you leave out the taxes in your math too, but we love you anyways.
What is your income going to be?
Dear Lord, please, for this bedtime story, let's make sure they're each making a minimum of $150,000. Amen. Got your prayers out? Got your tea bags out? All right.
2 doctors.
So so she will be in residency for 3 years.
Oh.
So we will have roughly $128,000 a year, and then after those 3 years, it should jump up to $250.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that's each.
And I thought you said you were a doctor.
Yeah, I'm a doctor of physical therapy. So.
Oh, I need to bring my kitty beard. I need my kitty ears back on. I need my. Okay. All right. It may be 10:08. It may be Tuesday night. I may be an hour past my get off the computer deck time. Oh, my Lord. This is only a year ago, so you know that bill is hanging out. Oh, my apologies. Sorry, not sorry.
Oh, a PT. Okay.
Yep.
So what are you making, 80?
I will be making about 70.
Yeah.
Okay. With my part-time job in childcare and my teaching job, of course, I am 18 years in the biz. Okay. I make in the mid-60s. He makes $5,000 a year, respectively, more than I do, and he's on his share. He's $215,000 worth of screwed. I'm calling it the way it is. See, the reason I like to use a teacher's income to assess a lot of things is you'll notice that, well, one is I'm experienced at it because it's, I like to stay in my lane. Okay. But the other thing is, it's pretty close to, I believe, the average income of most people in the United States. So that's the reason I use it.
Okay.
Starting out.
Okay, so you got $200,000 income for 3 years.
128 for 3 years.
I'm assuming this is each.
Oh,
she's gonna be making 61. I'll be making.
Oh, I misunderstood.
Jesus.
That was your household income.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't people get paid for residency? I guess they don't get paid for residency. Okay, now we definitely have 2 teacher incomes. Oh, jeez.
Correct. Yep. Sorry.
When you say enjoying life, what does that look like to y'all?
It means they want to be able to put zero down on a house that's approximately 4,200 square feet, so they can put $10,000 of it on a furniture, buy themselves a $22,000 car, even though it's more house than what they need. When people say they want to enjoy life, what they're really asking for is they would like permission to be able to spend willy-nilly as they feel free. It's kind of like when students come up to me, just seconds before the bell rings, and they go, "Miss Horn, can I please go to the bathroom?" as they bring in their backpack and put it down their chair. And every teacher knows what the student indirectly is asking is, can they be tardy? What these people are indirectly asking is, can they spend money whenever they wish because they need a break?
So me and my spouse's passion is traveling, hiking.
Oh, buddy. Yeah. Snaps for me. Because I knew when they when I need a break, I make a bundt cake. Yes, I make a bundt cake, maybe 2. Cost me about, I don't know, $20. That's what I do. I make a bundt cake. See, what these people are really asking Dave permission for is to be able to spend money as if they were doctors, and I'm putting that in quotes right now, and didn't carry $430,000 worth of screwed. That's, I just call it the way it is.
In the mountains and a lot of family time. And with her again.
Dude, you might as well just retire. Go get yourself a hammock, set up on the, I don't know, Florida beach somewhere and say, this is the life of a doctor that's $430,000 worth of screwed. This is not my wife and I needing to take our occasional rest. Do you know what I did when I was trying to pay off my little mortgage? Okay. My little $45,000 mortgage for this place. Okay. That was the mortgage amount that I took out. You know what I did for my little breaks? I'd go buy myself $100 comforter. I would buy myself a new bunt pan. I got myself a bunt pan, preferably on sale, so I didn't have to pay $45. But sometimes the $45 was demanded. But if I couldn't get it at, on sale, then I would pay the $45. But instead, I usually would pay around $35. I started a little cake business, very, very tiny. Probably couldn't put it on a thumbtack, but it was a step, and it didn't cost me anything because I already had the equipment. I didn't say, hey, you know what? I'm paying off my mortgage. I'm feeling kind of stressed out, and by golly, I need to take a break. Somebody take me on a trip to Paris on the Hello Kitty airplane. Yeah, that's my bucket list. Ride the Hello Kitty airplane to Paris. I don't even think they make the Hello Kitty airplane anymore. And during the 2.5 years that I paid off this place, I took one trip to Oregon. One trip to Oregon. Oh, hell, you know what? Come to think of it, I stand corrected. I did zero travel. I waited till the condo was paid off. Then I went to Oregon the very summer the condo was paid off. The very next summer after the condo was paid off in 2022, I went to Oregon. These guys want permission to travel the world. That's what they're looking for, because a deep part of them knows that's not the right thing to do. Now you see why this takes 6 years? Oh, but we have to take 6 years because we need to monitor our stress.
Getting accepted to a residency program a few hours away from home to see family, it would cost, a good chunk of change each time.
Dumb. Absolutely dumb. And these are two doctors? Sort of. Kind of. Okay? Oh, yeah, I will say that they're doctors, okay? Doctors. Not what Dave probably thinks of as doctors. Okay? I don't know what she is, though. See, remember in the last video we just did? The one before the break? And I said to you, the flags are already there. People already know when they are messing up. We already know when we're doing it, but we won't listen to that voice because we are so stubborn. We are so stubborn. We're so obtuse in our thinking at times.
Why? You get in the car and you drive over there.
It's like a 5-hour drive and then hotels to stay in.
Why don't you just stay with family? You know what these people really want? They want to be able to take luxury vacations on this $430,000 worth of broke. That's really what they want. And they're calling in to try to get Dave's blessing. Remember that first call that we did before the break? What did it do to their relationship when they couldn't afford the house? What did it do? If your financial situation doesn't make you smarter, it just makes you dumber.
Well, my thought is...
Okay, here's the thing.
You tell them, Dave.
Earl Nightingale used to say that the problem with achieving a goal is not that what we have to do to get to the goal. It's what we have to give up to get to the goal.
Oh, I like that. The problem of achieving the goal is not what we have to do to get to the goal. It's what we have to give up. It is what we have to give up. My goal was to get into a house and into a condo and pay it off as fast as possible. I'm not a house person, at least on my own. I'm not a house person. It's too much work for me physically and cost-wise. So what did I have to give up to pay off this condo? I had to give up $50,000 over 2.5 years. Believe me, I could have hauled myself around. I could have taken a I could have taken an international trip. I could have traveled. I could have done all the things that these people want to do, and I'd still be holding on to that debt. this young couple is showing lack of common sense. Why does there seem to be a common theme? And I could be totally wrong, but there seems to be a common thread with people who are doctors or hold doctor titles, regardless of what type of doctor they are. That's irrelevant. But they're holding on to doctor titles, and they just seem to be so broke. Like, I swear to God, if a doctor said to me, Carrie, I am just so in love with you, I would like to marry you, first thing I'm going to say is, let me see your credit score and let me find out what your doctor bills really are, because I really want to know, because I have done so many stories, right? We've done a lot of bedtime stories on doctors who are just broke. They're good at their medical practice, but when it comes to finances and self-control, they suck.
Your counselor is an idiot. Your pre-marriage counselor. Because here's the thing, you know.
Thank you. Yes, you tell him, Dave.
You want to define enjoyment of life as having $430,000 crushing you from the top down,
and not to mention the bills that will accumulate during all this travel. So instead of being able to pay off that bill, even say in 3 years, and pay it off and go and we're free, you're going to carry it out for 6. And during those 6 years, you don't know what other life circumstances are going to come your way. It's part of the reason I wanted this place paid off and why I got such a small place. It's not because I could only afford 840 square feet. But during that time that you're going to pay, 6 years is a long time for crap to happen.
While you go running around acting like you don't have debt and call that enjoying life?
Thank you, Dave. Preach.
I don't agree. I think that's really bad advice.
And our tea drinkers on the late night show tonight, we don't agree either, do we? Yes, especially all the way in the back. I see all the way in the back row there.
And so I think there's a lot of things you can do to enjoy life. A lot of broke people have really a lot of enjoyment in their life. And dude, you are seriously broke. I mean, seriously broke. $430,000 worth of screwed.
Almost $500,000. Tack on some interest. $500,000. Absorb that as you drink your tea. Or for some of you, you're having it with your toast for breakfast.
You are so broke, it's unbelievable how broke you are. And the sooner you guys just own that, the better off you're going to be. And quit walking around acting like it's all okay. It's not okay. Now, are you...
Something tells me, I apologize for interrupting, Dave. I did not mean to do that. Something tells me that this couple is just at the very start of a financial hell nightmare relationship, because they did this marriage counseling thing. And I'll tell you what I think. I think the marriage counselor told them what they want to hear. There are counselors out there that will tell you what you want to hear, not what you should hear. It'll tell you what they will tell you what you want to hear. Let me do a quick side vert on this channel here. We're just going to take a quick little forward, okay? And I wouldn't normally discuss this, but I think I could connect the two here. Maybe it's late, so, I'm going to talk about it anyways. So, it's interesting. The viewership on this channel has just done beautifully. Okay, now you're going to see the connection here in just a minute, okay? The viewership on this channel has gone from basically a channel that nobody watched. It was about 1,000 views a month, and I am not kidding. I think on a good month, I hit 1,500, all right? And once it changed into this video reaction channel, it just grew. And I think like last month or so, it went over 20,000. At one point, I saw it go 21,000. Now you're talking this little itty bitty channel, my channel, that like really nobody really knows about. So I got a note from YouTube. YouTube complimented me on having a nice thumbnail. That's wonderful. And they basically, said, hey, your channel has gone 20 times over. It's increased 20 times. That's the peak viewership. But the subscribership has been horrible as far as subscribership. And, I thought about it. And I think when it comes to, his comment here about the counselor and people, and I'm telling you, people sometimes say what you want, what they want to hear. And I kind of thought about it, and I could be totally wrong. Maybe it's just me. Because in general, people don't subscribe to the YouTube channels they watch. And that's, it's like, whatever, all I care about is that people want to drop by, say hi, whatnot. Okay. Oh, and I got my first channel member too. I won't call that person out because I don't know if they like that or not. But hey, Parlor, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. But back on track. One of the reasons I've thought about, and I do this all just for, education. Okay. One of the reasons I think that channels like this type of channel might have a hard time with subscribers. It's difficult to hear that, the decisions we've made financially aren't good. It can be difficult for us to hear that we don't have to live like this. We choose to live like this. It can be difficult to hear that we are responsible for addressing our own addictions, for addressing relationships that don't work out. We are responsible for fixing our problems. And though at times our problems seem insurmountable, they really aren't. And we really do have the power to fix it. And that may mean, changing jobs. It may mean ending one relationship because, they're dragging you down emotionally, financially. In other words, I really have thought about it. And I think a channel like this, well, I think some people can deal with it really well. And I try to intersperse, and I've said it before, don't take me too seriously, okay? Every time I say the word idiot or stupid, trust me. Yeah, and if you've watched this channel, I've called myself that too. But it's not that I'm really calling that person that directly, okay? Because I don't know them, okay? But I've thought at times, this isn't a fun channel in the sense of, hey, this is a gaming channel. This is a shopping channel. This is a channel that basically makes you look at what you have done, where you have messed up, where other people have messed up that you can learn from them. This channel, if you really, really get down to the crux of it, I created this channel because I don't want to tell you what you want to hear. I want to tell you what you should hear. Compare that to your life. Decide if what you're hearing does it work for you? There's no way that everything I say, everybody could possibly agree with. That's impossible. But it's something that gives you food for thought. Because one of the things it's going to take for you to get out of debt is you've got to be willing to hear other people's thoughts, opinions, and ideas. But it takes a certain amount of courage for us to be able to listen to debt stories, because just as we can learn from it, it can also be traumatizing to people. If you look at some of the early videos when I first started this channel, okay, and some of the unexpected reactions I had to listening to people's stories, okay, that's what I mean by traumatizing, because it forces me to relive it. For me to be a commentary channel, I have to put myself back there. And I have to be willing to basically relive it. Okay. And another side note, doing commentary is much harder than people think it is. All right. I think some people think commentary channels are easy. They're actually incredibly draining. And usually I limit it to one a day, depending upon the topic. And if it's a really heavy topic, that's it. All right. That's all I can handle for that day. But these people here, the guidance that they're getting, they got a counselor, I believe, that told them what they wanted to hear. Maybe it's because they were paying them money. And the counselor wanted them to keep coming back. Maybe it's because the counselor was a really good friend of theirs, didn't want to offend them. But in reality, to get out of debt, you need to listen to somebody that isn't afraid to tell you the truth. That's what you need to listen to. And even if you don't agree with someone says, listen to the other side so you understand why you don't agree. I've always said I can't disagree with someone if I haven't heard their side. If I can't see something from their perspective. It's just something to think about. These people are going to surround themselves, this caller and his wife, I guarantee you, they are going to surround themselves with people who will say what they want to hear, because they really don't, they already know the answer. These are two doctors. These people are not dumb. They don't need to call into to Dave and say, hey, should we spend our money on playtime and fun and travel when we're holding nearly $500,000 worth of student debt? People already know the answer. They know the answer when they call in, but just a part of them. You got that one group, and that one group wants validation that, yes, they understand they need to pay off debt, and they're simply trying to get their cards in order to pay off the debt. And then you have the other group that darn well knows they need to pay off the debt. They don't want to pay off the debt, and they want someone to help give them validation to say, hey, you really don't have to pay it off. Because then it passes the responsibility to someone else when the debt cannot be paid and when financial failure sets in.
You going to clean that up in 3 years? No, you're not going to clean that up in 3 years making 110. You're not going to do that. But y'all have made a serious dadgum mess, and we want to travel? Sorry. When you signed up for this doc thing, you kind of cashed in the travel card.
My husband and I
They've already bought a house. This is a house. They bought the house.
to do Trip Tuesdays, where we went on trips to little national parks. And
okay, folks, this has been fun. It's 10:30. I'm gonna get this sucker uploaded. I hope you guys like this format, the layout here. This is the visual layout I'm going to keep. It's easy for me, simple and easy, and ultimately in the end, I like it. So I hope you guys like it too. All right. My tea has cooled off. It's time to go to bed. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. I would like to thank you for joining me this evening on this double feature chat. I hope those of you who are going to bed, you have a peaceful night. I hope those of you who are exercising to this in the morning, keep up that heart rate. I'm proud of you. You're talking to a fitness buff. And for that one person that I know has tea with their toast, if you watch this, save me a slice. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. Don't forget to subscribe. You have a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday night. Bye.